Hey there and welcome to ZeitgeistOG. Fat man here, and if you couldn't tell by my stomach, I really don't like tomatoes. But there is one thing I dislike more than a tomato: a rotten tomato. And I don't mean the one you might find on the back shelf at Walmart. I mean the infamous movie website that fans and studios have come to worship like it's the second coming of Jesus Christ. But why has this website become such a festering hemorrhoid on the ass of society? Well, being a dickhead movie reviewer myself, and in honor of my boy Dave Chappelle, we're about to launch into it, and I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to break this down by points, and my first point is alienation. Now hear me out, it might sound like a simple one, but I'll elaborate. Pause this video right now, I'll give you a minute. Pause this video and go watch literally any, and I mean any, movie trailer or teaser post-release, and tell me what you see. Done? Now put your pet goldfish in front of the screen, or whatever you're watching this on, and I bet even Mr. Fins can quote word for word what you just saw. Is the #1 movie in America. Got a who gives a shit on Rotten Tomatoes. Movies wear this like a badge of honor, and this adds to the exclusion surrounding the viewer. Now, think about when you kind of want to go see a movie. And I don't mean one you really want to see. I mean something you're sort of on the fence about, because if you're dying to see something, you'll most likely go regardless of critical reception. Now, think about one you're leaning yes or no towards, only to see that it's gotten a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, which of course is being advertised on every major movie website and TV spot and yada yada yada. And you completely disregard the 75% audience score because, face it, it's just easier for the internet to think for you. Now, just like that, you've robbed yourself of an experience you could have really enjoyed that originated from a 50-50 chance just because it's easier to not be observant. Now, this all matters because of the huge disconnect between Rotten Tomatoes and the viewing audience. Bad word of mouth is nothing new, but at the end of the day, Rotten Tomatoes is a business. The goal isn't a multi-day analysis and an understanding of what you just saw. It's to be the first to plaster your shitty review all over the internet so your stupid little website could get as much traffic as possible. After all, the reCAPTCHA can be bypassed using a Facebook page, which opens the floodgates to spammers and bots. Let's not forget the abuse the website suffered under the Lady Gaga vs. Venom fiasco, when there was a bunch of Lady Gaga fans intentionally sabotaging Venom with negative reviews. Movies are arguably easier to digest than video games or music, but I will still not be sold on the idea that you were able to write a full-length review on a 3-hour movie in the 5-minute Uber ride from the cinema to the Starbucks. So this all brings me into my second point: accessibility and dishonesty. So why does it matter if the website is flawed and a few people were deterred from seeing a movie? Critics have been around forever, so why is Rotten Tomatoes especially bad? Well, to answer that, we're going to have to take a look at Roger Ebert. For those who somehow don't know, he is one of the most famous movie critics to ever walk this planet. Both his show and his newspaper columns were a smash hit with adults. But let's look at this from a kid's perspective for a minute. No kid is going to be caught reading the newspaper, and no kid is going to watch a fat old guy trash talk the greatest movie known to mankind, Max Keeble's Big Move. This all ties back to Rotten Tomatoes because of accessibility. While Ebert was famous, you had to make an effort to watch or read his reviews. But obviously in today's world, the internet is an open, godless wasteland, and something like Rotten Tomatoes is just one grubby finger swipe away. Kids are obviously gullible, and their minds are very easy to mold. So having access to a database of that size only teaches them exclusivity right off the bat. Now when you're dealing with something as dishonest as Rotten Tomatoes, that's not doing anybody any favors. So do you remember when Captain Marvel received a terrible score, spam bots were discovered to be behind it, Rotten Tomatoes purged all of the negative reviews, Cap Marvel still got a shitty score, and Rotten Tomatoes blamed it all on a glitch because they still can't forget the $1 million suck job Disney gave them over giving The Last Jedi a positive score? 'Cause we do. Now, everything I've just said may not seem like the biggest deal on earth, and it may seem a little out of nowhere, but it all ties into my very final point: voice. One of the most important things in being a reviewer of anything is the authenticity of your voice. For one thing, voice can come in really handy if you ever need to trade it in for legs so you can leave the sea and go pork the handsome stud who lives on land. For another, it defines and shapes the trust that people have in you as a reviewer to give them crucial information that might help in their decision making. Of course, taste is subjective, but when you give something like I don't know, Teen Titans Go to the Movies, a 91%. And my boy Scarface is sitting over here 10 points lower with an 81%. All you're really telling me is that you value cancer over rainbows and puppies. The thing is, it could be really, really difficult to distinguish honest analysis and honest feelings on a movie if you reportedly employ hundreds of professional critics and have it be their sole job, their only job, to read and watch thousands and thousands of movie reviews and videos a week. Guess who does that? Go on, guess. You need a hint? Not only do you not know whose opinion you're even reading when you read Rotten Tomatoes, but there's no authenticity. Who are they? Who deemed them professionals? How was that decided? Who decided it? It's all just a mess of faceless people whose opinions you can't even distinguish from one another. Another glaring issue in this is that if all you do all week is read and watch somebody else's work, especially if it only relates to one topic, then even subconsciously, it might not even be intentional, but even subconsciously, you're going to begin to regurgitate somebody else's words and somebody else's thoughts and feelings in a specific pattern because that's all you've been paying attention to all week. So when Roger Ebert reviews something, you know exactly how he got to that point and why he feels that way, even if you disagree. You know who and where it's coming from. You're exclusively getting his thoughts. And to a lesser extent, that's even here on YouTube with guys like Square-Eyed Jack and of course the Angry Video Game Nerd. We like and trust watching them because we can feel the effort they've put in to distinguish their opinion from everybody else. We can see the effort they're clearly putting in to do their research and deliver a terrific final product. Even if we don't always agree with them, the consistency of a voice lends itself to the authenticity of a reviewer. When you employ over 100 faceless employees to do all of your work, you wind up taking a bag of fresh tomatoes and leaving in its place a pretentious, unusable mess of rotten ketchup. And that was my 2 thoughts on Rotten Tomatoes. Do you agree, disagree? Who do you trust review-wise? Do you go for the sole reviewer? Do you like these big, giant organizations like Rotten Tomatoes or IGN to give you your news? And for the question of the day, how the hell do you pronounce that? Is it CAPTCHA? CAPTCHA? ReCAPTCHA? I don't know. I'm Fat Man, and thank you for watching ZeitgeistOG. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on your way out, and tune in next time. Adios.